Turtle and the Rising River. In a lush valley surrounded by tall mountains, there lived a humble turtle named Terence. Unlike the other animals who were fast, strong, or cunning, Terence was slow and patient, always taking his time to think before he acted. Because of this, the animals often teased him, calling him Slowpoke and Lagging Terence. But Terence didn't mind. He knew that life wasn't a race. One day, after weeks of rain, the river that ran through the valley began to swell. The animals noticed the rising water, but they didn't think much of it. The proud fox said, "I can leap over the water." The swift deer boasted, "I can outrun any flood." The clever squirrel laughed, "I'll just climb a tree." But Terence, watching the river carefully, saw that it was rising faster than anyone realized. He decided to start moving uphill, away from the riverbank. "The water will cover the whole valley soon," he warned the others as he slowly made his way up the mountain path. The fox laughed. "By the time you get there, the flood will be gone, Turtle." The deer and the squirrel joined in, not believing the slow turtle's warning. After all, the water hadn't reached them yet. But as the hours passed, the river crept closer and closer until it began to spill into the valley. The animals, still thinking they could escape at the last minute, continued to play and ignore the signs. By the time they realized the danger, it was too late. The water rushed in quickly, sweeping away anything in its path. The fox tried to leap over the water, but it was too wide. The deer ran as fast as it could, but the current was faster. Even the squirrel, perched high in a tree, found its home sinking into the flood. Meanwhile, Terence, slow but steady, had already reached the safety of higher ground. From his perch on the hill, he watched as the river surged through the valley below. The animals who had laughed at him were struggling against the flood. When the waters finally receded, the animals, soaked and exhausted, climbed to the hill where Terence sat. "You were right, Terence," said the fox, ashamed. "We should have listened to you," added the deer. Terence smiled kindly and said, "The world moves at its own pace, but if we rush without thinking, we might miss the dangers ahead. It's not always the fastest who win, but those who take their time and stay aware." From that day on, the animals respected Terence's wisdom, realizing that patience and foresight were as valuable as speed and strength. Moral: sometimes slow and steady wins not because of speed, but because of foresight and wisdom.